Someone swallows the wrong pills, breathes the wrong fumes, or takes too much of a drug that was never safe to begin with. In the first 10 minutes after that happens, what you do can be the entire difference between a bad night and a funeral. Poisoning and overdose kill more people in the United States every year than car crashes do. Most of those deaths happen at home, not in some dramatic emergency room scene, and the person nearby when it happens is almost never a doctor. There is one phone number that resolves the vast majority of these emergencies without an ambulance ever showing up, and one specific decision point that tells you whether this is a phone a nurse situation or a 911 situation. In the next few minutes, you'll learn the signs that separate a poisoning from an overdose, the exact first moves for each, the line that decides when to call for backup, and the myths that get people killed by making them hesitate. Poisoning and overdose are cousins, not twins. Poisoning is any harmful substance getting into the body in a way it was never meant to. A cleaning product swallowed by a toddler, gas fumes filling a garage, spoiled food, a bad reaction to something touched or inhaled. Overdose is a specific kind of poisoning. Too much of a substance the body can normally handle in smaller amounts, usually a medication or a recreational drug, most dangerously an opioid like fentanyl, heroin, or a prescription painkiller. Both share the same basic problem. Something has entered the body faster than the body can safely process it, and organs, most critically the brain and the lungs, start losing that fight. With classic poisons, the damage is often chemical burns, organ strain, or toxic effects on the nervous system. With opioid overdose specifically, the danger is almost always breathing. The drug slows it down until, untreated, it can stop completely. That distinction matters because the fix is different. Chemical poisonings mostly need dilution, fresh air, and expert phone guidance. Opioid overdose specifically has a fast-acting antidote that can reverse it within minutes if someone nearby knows to use it. For swallowed poisons, look for burns or stains around the mouth, a strange chemical smell on the breath, vomiting, confusion, drowsiness, or an open container found near someone who suddenly doesn't feel right. For inhaled poisons like carbon monoxide, the symptoms mimic the flu: headache, dizziness, weakness, upset stomach, chest pain, confusion. It's especially dangerous because people who are asleep or intoxicated can be poisoned without ever waking up to notice. For opioid overdose, the giveaway signs are strikingly specific. Pinpoint pupils the size of a pin, slow or shallow breathing, choking or gurgling sounds, blue or grey lips and fingertips, and a body that goes completely limp. The single scariest sign, across every kind of poisoning and overdose, is a change in breathing or consciousness. Gasping, gurgling, snoring in someone who's never snored, or simply not waking up when you shout their name and shake their shoulder. If you see any of those breathing or consciousness changes, stop gathering more information. You already have enough to act. The clock that matters most here is measured in minutes, not the time it takes to feel completely certain. Step 1 for any poisoning: stop the exposure. Get the person away from the fumes, wipe the chemical off the skin, take the object out of a child's mouth. You cannot help until the poison stops entering the body. Step 2. Check breathing and responsiveness. Tap their shoulder, shout their name. If they're awake, breathing normally, and not having a seizure, you very likely have time to get expert guidance by phone instead of guessing. For a conscious, breathing person who swallowed something, call Poison Control. 800-222-12222. It's free, confidential, staffed by pharmacists and nurses, available every hour of every day, and they will walk you through exactly what to do next. Do not make the person vomit, and do not give them anything to eat or drink unless a poison control expert specifically tells you to. Vomiting can cause more damage on the way back up, especially with anything corrosive or caustic. If you suspect an opioid overdose specifically, the priority shifts immediately. Look for Naloxone. The brand name Narcan is the nasal spray version, and if it's available anywhere nearby, use it right away, rather than waiting to be completely sure. If the person is unconscious but breathing on their own, turn them onto their side, into the recovery position. Tilt their head back slightly so their airway stays open, and stay with them constantly while you wait for help to arrive. Here is the line that decides everything else in this video. If the person is awake, alert, and breathing normally, this is a poison control call. If they are unconscious, having a seizure, having trouble breathing, or cannot be woken up, this is a 911 call. Immediately, no exceptions. That second category, unresponsive or not breathing normally, is also exactly when naloxone becomes urgent, if an opioid overdose is even a possibility. You do not need proof it's an opioid. If you're wrong, naloxone does essentially nothing harmful to someone who wasn't overdosing on opioids. So the real question in the first 60 seconds is simple. Can this person keep themselves breathing and conscious right now on their own? If yes, phone a poison expert. If no, or you're not sure, call 911 and act like it's the worst case. Never let the two calls compete with each other. If breathing is already a problem, call 911 first, always. Poison control is brilliant for guidance, but it cannot send paramedics to your exact address. Naloxone works by kicking opioids off the brain's receptors for several minutes, restoring normal breathing almost immediately. It comes as a ready-to-use nasal spray in most kits. No needle, no assembly, no training required. To use it, tilt the person's head back slightly, insert the nozzle into one nostril until your fingers touch the bottom of their nose, and press the plunger firmly. That's the entire technique, and it works whether or not you're certain the person is even conscious. Then call 911 and start rescue breathing or compressions if they're not breathing on their own, because naloxone takes a couple of minutes to work and the body still needs oxygen in the meantime. Wait 2 to 3 minutes. If breathing hasn't improved, a second dose in the other nostril is appropriate, since fentanyl is strong enough that a single dose sometimes isn't enough to fully reverse it. Stay with the person after they respond. Naloxone wears off faster than many opioids do, especially fentanyl, which means someone can slip back into an overdose after seeming fine. So paramedics genuinely need to evaluate them, regardless of how good they suddenly look. Myth: milk neutralizes poison. It doesn't. Milk can actually speed up how fast some poisons are absorbed into the bloodstream, and it can mask symptoms a poison control expert needs to hear about accurately. Myth: if someone's overdosing, walk them around or put them in a cold shower to wake them up. Neither works, and both waste critical time while doing nothing to fix the actual problem, which is that their breathing has slowed down. Myth: you'll get arrested for calling 911 on an overdose because drugs are involved. Nearly every state has a Good Samaritan law that protects the caller and the person overdosing from prosecution for simple drug possession, specifically so that fear never stops someone from calling. Naloxone is dangerous to give if you're not completely sure it's an opioid overdose. It isn't. Naloxone has essentially no effect on someone who isn't on opioids. So using it when you're unsure carries almost no downside. Myth: they'll just sleep it off. Slowed breathing from an opioid overdose can progress to no breathing at all within minutes, silently, often without any struggle or noise that would tip off someone in the next room. Young children are the classic poisoning risk group. Curious enough to put anything in their mouths. And most household poisonings involve medications, cleaning products, or cosmetics left within reach, on a low shelf or an open purse. Older adults face a different risk: mixing up medications, doubling a dose by accident, or a new prescription interacting badly with something they've taken safely for years without ever meaning any harm. Fentanyl has changed the overdose landscape completely. It's now showing up mixed into counterfeit pills that look identical to real prescription medication, meaning someone can overdose on a pill they believed was something else entirely, with no drug history at all. Anyone who uses opioids, prescribed or otherwise, and anyone who lives with them, should treat naloxone the way they'd treat a fire extinguisher: cheap, available without a prescription in most states, and useless sitting in a drawer 3 rooms away when it's actually needed. To recap: stop the exposure, check breathing and responsiveness, and remember the line. Awake and breathing normally means call poison control at 800-222-1222. Unresponsive, seizing, or struggling to breathe means call 911 and use naloxone if it's anywhere nearby. Prevention cuts most of these emergencies off before they start. Lock up medications and chemicals. Keep naloxone in the house if anyone in it uses opioids. And never assume a pill is safe just because it looks like the real thing. We've built a free printable checklist at firsthour.com covering exactly what to keep in a poisoning and overdose kit, the poison control number, and the naloxone steps from this video, so you're not trying to remember any of it during an actual emergency. If this video could help someone in your life recognize these 10 minutes in time, share it with them right now and subscribe for the next emergency skill that could matter just as much. We'll see you in the next one.